What's good? It's your boy, His Will, and I'm back with another podcast episode. And this episode, we're going to be talking about Alice in Borderland. Now, Alice in Borderland was a Netflix movie that was released. It takes place in Tokyo, and it all happens basically in Tokyo, downtown Tokyo. So if there was a couple of movies, there was one movie in the 80s that came out, and it was I cannot think of the name at all. Maybe I'll have it somewhere down here in the editing process or something. I'll do something. But the movie, basically when they hid out in the bomb shelter, woke up, nobody was there, and then and everybody had turned into, I don't know, zombies or something, or disappeared, or something happened, and they had the whole place to themselves. They woke up in the movie theater, blah blah blah. But this one takes place in Tokyo. Is three buddies, but which two of them are brothers, and the other one's one of the best friends. So of course they're best friends, and they started in downtown Tokyo. It was a heck of people out there. So it's packed. If you see all the time in the movies, you see crowds and crowds and crowds of people walking around downtown in Tokyo, and you get to see all that. See everything that all the people down there walking across the crosswalk. It has the big jumbotrons like they do in New York. That was all going on. So what they did was they were, one of the guys put his brother on his neck and was spinning him around and having the camera and doing all this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 having a fun time. But they was doing all this in the middle of the street while people were walking. And so what happened was, he did something, fall or something. And oh no, we're in the middle of the street. So they got to run, and they cause an accident, like, oh no, and the police start coming out. And so they got to run. So they ran into like the subway station and ran into the bathroom and hid in the stall, in the bathroom stall. And so what happened was they hid in there, and then they were like, oh no, what's going on? They was hiding. They hear people rustling around outside, people using the bathroom, doing what they do. And then what happened was they saw, now before they went in, they were seeing these, it was like 4th of July. They saw, it was like some fireworks happened or something like that was going on outside. And then, so the lights went out, the lights go off, and they're in the bath like, hey, what happened? So they were like, hey, what's going on? Let me check it out. And they look, and so they go out and look out. Nobody's in the bathroom. You think, okay, normal. You go outside, ain't nobody there. I mean, nobody. It is completely empty, and there's literally nothing. I mean, people. It was almost like that Kirk Cameron movie too, and everybody was on Revelations. They just left literally because it was people, food still hot in the middle in the mall and the restaurants, and it was just people was gone. And you're like, what is going on? And so they walking around looking, trying to see what's going on. Of course, the phones ain't working. Because, when do the phones ever work when something like that happens? And so they're going and they're looking around, trying to find what's going on. Like, dang. And so they stumble across this building. They go in, and they're like, what's going on here? They see like 3 phones or 4 phones, and they're like, what is this? And they're like, what in the heck is going on here? And so they end up in the room, and the phones, it says, a recording comes over, and it says, hey, you are now in such and such. This is the game. This is, you got to do such and such. Here's a game. They give you like a riddle, and this is the, I don't know, one of diamonds. Level of difficulty was like 4 or 5 of diamonds, whatever it is. And the higher it goes, the higher the difficulty. We'll explain that in a little bit. So another lady comes in and they're doing this and that, and they're just like, hey, what's going on? They're like, look, you can't leave, you can't go outside because such and such will happen. And they're like, what? And so they're forced to play this game. I'm not gonna get all the little details, everything. This is just the first episode. It's about 8 episodes. And so they're now, if y'all thinking, before I continue, if y'all thinking this is your normal Alice in Wonderland, and you see the Mad Hatter and all these rabbits and these weird characters and stuff like that, you will see some weird characters, but you won't see it ain't no Mad Hatter type things. This Mad Hatter, if you will, I'll let you decide. I'll let you see that. I don't want to spoil it. So the Mad Hatter, whoever that person may be, yeah, you could consider that particular person the Mad Hatter. Now that I look back on it. And so it's really, from there they started playing the game. So they were playing the game, and there's always one straggler. Something got to happen to somebody just to get the game or the movie and stuff popping off. And this particular thing, there was like 4, so it was them 3, another woman, and 2 other women. And so they're in this room and blah blah blah. So they're like, you have 3 minutes to get out of this room before it basically catches on fire. You got to pick the right door. Now, one of them, which is the brother, he's a gamer, and they're always talking about, always playing these games, blah blah blah. Why don't you get him to get a job, blah blah blah. Be like your brother, blah blah blah. Well, this is where his gaming skills come into play, and he actually he's like, man, what's happening? So they pick one door because they're trying to get the door first. So the one of the girls runs to the door. Later, a laser shoots right down, boom, the top of their head, straight down, kills her instantly. Done. So they got to pick the other door, get through there. The room bursts in flames. Now you have such and such. In each room they go to, they get a smaller time. So what the gamer does, he noticed a couple of things, like you're on this floor. He notices the map and how, this room is this, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of flashbacks on what he noticed stuff. And so he starts writing. He drew a little diagram and like, we're in this room. So if it's this room, it's going to be the opposite door. And one of the doors is good and evil or something like that. And so you got to pick the right one. Pick the wrong one, that laser going to come down. Also, if you go outside of the game, the parameter of the game. So if you go in, the game starts, you can't turn around and walk back out like, I ain't able to play this, I'm out. Because from somewhere, lasers will come down, straight down, and kill you instantly. So if you say you don't want to play no more, or I'm done with this, boom, it's done. So, they do that, and they get through that, and they end up getting through fairly unscathed. The best friend, he actually gets burned, because they dove through the door last second, so it caught his leglet on fire. And so they have to tend to him and do all this, so they're getting him together, then have to play these games. One of the games that to look out for, which is, I definitely wouldn't want to be in this type of situation, is any game that has to do with hearts. Because when you have a game with hearts, that is a game that has to do with you and your loved ones. So you want to be with some strangers or something, even still, it's kind of crazy. Because it's going to test you on basically who's going to meet their demise, or you're going to sacrifice yourself. So you have to figure that out. And when you see that particular episode with that scene, you'll understand it was a very, it was a trip, and you can see what happened to one of the main characters after that game, and see what happened to him if it hadn't been for this other chick that's popping up. So then, so they going through these games, getting through that game happens, and then they start banding together with some other people, and it's like, we got to figure out how to get out of here. Is it like this all over the place? And so you start seeing other people, and there's this place called Paradise, which is basically a hotel that, another thing that happens in these movies all the time, and it goes back to like Lord of the Flies or any other type of movie or show that when somebody's stranded somewhere and it's a lot of people, there's always people that rise to the top and they're ruling everything, and they have some type of, even from The Walking Dead, they got these little encampments and places and stuff like that. And so it's like, man. And another thing with the games, you buy, as you win the game, you buy time. So you have a few days to pass up a few games you don't have to play, but you have to do it before your visa wears out. And your visa is basically your game piece, the time to keeping you alive. Otherwise, the laser come down and destroy you. And so you have a couple of days to get it, to do what you do, to explore whatever you got to do, and then you got to go and play a game. And boy, some of these games, boy, they is crazy, sadistic, sick, like some crazy games. So you have to, and it goes back, if you're looking at movies like The Saw, there's several movies that have that game show type. It's the game show. It's the game show type games that you play, and you got to get out, and those type of movies that have all that stuff. You do wrong, something happens, you lose a limb, or you get something happens. It's just, how that is. So what you have to do is, you got to be smart, and you got to be, man, you got to trust each other. You playing with people. So these are people that was random, coming from all over the place. From stuff, but I did notice a theme. It seems to me like some people that were being brought did something bad or something in their life to where they were chosen, I guess, and kept here. So, but I won't go into the backstories. You will see all that once you watch the show. But it was definitely a good show. I just put it this way: it's going to have to be a season 2. But anywho, so like I was saying with the encampments, the people, the paradise, and so there's set up in these certain groups, and some of the people had like these wrist wears and stuff, something that they put on the wrist. I thought it was something for like maybe some people had went through the prison or something like that and did something. And hold on for a second. So yeah, and so you see that it's like one of those, only the strong survive. But then again, you gotta have brains and brawn, because some of the games you have to use your head. Yeah, they'll help with you fighting and stuff and doing. It was some wild, man. I'm talking about wild animals and beasts. I'm like, bruh, you'd have to take me to Walmart, because I'd have to give me some new draws, because it was too much going on. I was scared just watching it. And so so what happened was, they meet up with other people. So you have the witty, the cunning, that just, they're just people persons, and people persons have that influence, to be a good leader, and they win the minds, and so and they win the minds of people, and people just follow them. That's just a natural quality some people have. So this is what was happening, and you had the people, like it was a crew, the strong, no mess. They were like security, and so there was people at the hotel. It was called Paradise because you could do whatever you want to do. They was all around the pool having a good time. It was food, and they had gas. They was driving cars, because of course all the cars stopped working, but not the old cars that didn't have all that technology. See, that's why you want to keep your car that don't run on all that electric. So if something happened, like an EMP device or something, when the cars go out, the electrical systems, you still got that good old American muscle. You feel me? And so you do that, and then as they meet up with them, go up in there, and then they're trying to link up with some people that's within the group, and it was just kind of like they was double crossing, and it was just a lot of scandalous stuff going on in that particular, when they met up with them, because they were trying to find out. They thought that was like a way out, and I'm not going to tell you what's going to be going on after that, but that was that Paradise Place became a game, so to speak. So, and then from then on, you guys are gonna have to watch that because I don't want to give you no more of that. But it was really good. It was real good. I really did appreciate one thing about Netflix. They be putting out some heat. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. They've been putting out some heat, and what I like is some of these foreign films, especially in the horror genre. We already know action movies is gonna get you there. But in the horror genres and stuff, boy, they be having some good movie, and the production value of these movies and shows are off the chain. It's like when you watch them, you ready to go and keep watching more. And that's with several other shows on Netflix, because sometimes you just want to watch a movie and straight through, but some of these be episodes and you just can't put it down. Like for instance, there's a movie that I'm watching. It's called it's not a movie, but it's a show, and it is. Let me see if I can I don't know if I can find it. It was called Manhunt Daily Deadly Games. That's another good show. It's good. He's like, what's gonna go on? What's gonna happen? So, you got all that. There's another movie that came out that I wanted to kind of touch on. It was called Sweet Home. And Sweet Home was a movie that was basically, it's another one of those, it dealt with like, it dealt with like monsters and stuff like that. So it took place in a kind of like a slum village, slum hotel, apartment complex type thing, And what happens is this dude, his name is Chaeyoung Soo, and he moves into one of these little slum places, right? And they're called like the Green Home, Green Home projects or whatnot. But I'll talk about that on the next episode. So I will check y'all out and we'll get onto that. So I just want to give a little teaser on that. But make sure y'all tune in. We'll be back with another podcast, and we'll be talking about the Sweet Home. So like I always say, y'all, it's peace and more hair grease. You dig? Ooh-wee. And I'm out like a sprout. No doubt.
My healer, my provider, my comforter, you're all I need. For your love, Jesus died for you, paid the price for you.